Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Tom Spark and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be checking out Mullvad VPN. Is this VPN worth using or not? Is it overhyped or not? Let's go ahead and find out. Hey guys, if you haven't checked out my website, I really encourage you to do so. It's called vpntierlist.com, and essentially what it is a collection and kind of organization of all the content on my channel. You could view the tier list, which ranks all the VPNs pretty much in existence. You could click on the VPNs themselves to visit the VPN, click on the numbers to visit the review. You can even click on this to see a collection of all the individual ratings for every category of every VPN in a handy dandy comparison table, kind of like a spreadsheet. We also have this, which will list out the best streaming VPNs, this, which lists out some of my favorite products and online services. And if you go back to the homepage, you could click here to go to the VPN Noob to VPN Master course, which pretty much teaches you everything you need to know from the basics on VPN. I also have a fact page here to list out some of the common questions asked on the channel, as well as some other tier lists I've done as well. Anyways, guys, back to the video. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and talk about the pricing section for Mullvad. Now, Mullvad is pretty interesting in that it kind of has a very transparent pricing system. They specifically have designed it so you don't get roped into long-term commitments you don't want to use. The way Mullvad does it is that you purchase a flat rate. It's going to be around $5.50 a month, and the rate is always that rate. So if you buy 12 months of Mullvad, that will be around $60. This includes 5 simultaneous devices. Honestly, guys, this pricing system gets a lot of praise, and I do think it's pretty good that it's just like always $5.50 per month, no matter what. However, for people who want to purchase long-term subscriptions, I don't think that shouldn't be an option. I personally think TorGuard and AirVPN's pricing model, same with VPN, ultimately is going to get you a little bit more bang for your buck. These VPN services give you discounts if you buy like a year. I always say that as long as you're buying a tier 1 VPN, you should be okay with buying long-term commitment models. Just don't buy anything below tier 1 because I don't think those ones are good enough to kind of vouch for. Tier 1 are pretty close to perfect. Mullvad here, while I do like this transparent pricing model of only being $5.50 a month, over the course of a year, the price is going to add up and it's going to be more expensive than other pricing options on my tier list. So unfortunately, I can't give it a 5 out of 5 in terms of pricing. Not only that, but allowing only 5 simultaneous devices is pretty low. Nowadays, I'm looking for more like 8 to 10 simultaneous device use between each account, which is just becoming more standard. So 5 is a little bit low. I wouldn't be surprised to see Mullvad increase that number, maybe eventually, but then again, Mullvad does kind of not change things too quickly. So that's the pricing. So let's go ahead and talk about Mullvad VPN's application. One thing I don't like about Mullvad is that the interface is a little bit wonky. I've noticed people say that on Linux, you can actually drag and drop Mullvad around, but for some reason on Windows, it's always kind of locked over here and you can't drag it. It's kind of annoying. Not only that, but when Mullvad is minimized, if you right click on the little thing down there in the taskbar, let me show you. If you right click on that, nothing comes up. Basically what you have to do is bring Mullvad up, and then you're going to actually have to quit the application like this. It's a kind of a clunky UI thing. I'm not sure why there isn't just a little bit more room up here to exit out, exit Mullvad. Those are probably my 2 biggest nitpicky things in terms of the user interface. Mullvad infamously used to have a really basic interface and it looked like crap. Now, in terms of the application analysis feature here, we ran Mullvad through all the different things that I'm looking for in a VPN service. And while Mullvad does get a lot of praise for being very secure and stuff like that, unfortunately, it's not very feature rich or customizable. As you can see here, it's missing stuff like an application kill switch, dedicated IP support in case you want to use dedicated IPs. It doesn't have that many protocols. It does have WireGuard, which is nice. It's always kind of been a major proponent of that. However, it doesn't support older things like IKV2, which are still very good to use nowadays. Not only that, but it doesn't have ad blocking, split tunneling, SOCKS5 proxy support. It does have obfuscation technique from the bridge kind of ability / feature. It doesn't have encryption customization that lets you change your encryption. No DNS customization lets you pick your DNS service. It doesn't have any port customization either. Sometimes this can be useful to unblock VPN restrictions blocked on specific ports. It doesn't have script support for making any cool scripts to control Mullvad or other applications. You can't favorite servers, and while it does have configuration of servers while live use where you could switch servers as you're using it, it doesn't really provide much information about specific servers, their latency, or what kind of performance. Overall, I do think that Mullvad is a pretty secure application and it works pretty well. However, that said, like I said before, it is lacking customization and features that we see in other applications that get higher scores on the tier list. Stuff like TorGuard, AirVPN, and applications like those really just go above and beyond in terms of customization and stuff like that. Whereas Mullvad is more of a simplistic application, and it's always been that way. I don't know why it doesn't have certain things like split tunneling, IPv2 support, the addition of some port customization and DNS customization. Some of these things would make it a lot better, and even stuff like server favoriting. I'm not sure why it doesn't have that either, which would just make it more intuitive to use and pick the server that you always want. Now let's go ahead and talk about speeds with Mullvad VPN. As you can see, I'm doing a live speed test here, which is much more accurate and honest than pretty much anyone else who only usually shows speed tests in some kind of comparison table or something like that. I always do live speed tests here on the channel to show you utmost transparency to make sure the speed test is real in live video. Now with Mullvad, I didn't get the best speeds before. I rated it around 4 out of 5 because it just gave me pretty good speeds, not the best. But this time around, it looks like Mullvad has kind of stepped up a bit and made some really good improvements to their servers. In my current test between a couple days and now, I'm getting very consistent and good speeds with Mullvad VPN. We're getting a good download rate here, a nearly unchanged upload rate, excellent ping. And let's go ahead and move into the torrent test to show you what I get there. So yesterday I was fiddling around with Mullvad and seeing what kind of speeds I can get, and it's actually going to be in top tier 5 out of 5 speeds region. We get excellent speeds while downloading torrents, which is really nice to see. Very fast downloads and pretty much as good as speeds as you're going to get. Definitely up there among the fastest of my VPN providers. Very nice. Now, one thing about Mullvad that's always been kind of disappointing is that while they have a good kind of stance on security and transparency and trust in terms of the reputation, they've never really put that much effort into stuff like features like I was saying, or extra streaming compatibility. A lot of VPNs today, in fact, most of them understand that people are using VPNs for different reasons. Some people use VPNs for, just securing their internet and making sure their ISP is not snooping on them, making sure they're not leaking any information in public Wi-Fi hotspots. However, Mullvad doesn't work with streaming compatibility, which means that they can't unblock geo restrictions on specific services like Netflix. Now, a lot of other VPNs understand that specifically some users are only using VPNs to unblock geo restrictions, or they're using VPNs for multiple reasons, including security like I mentioned, but they also want to access specific content in specific regions. So let's say someone in Japan, they want to watch Hulu, BBC iPlayer, Prime Video, and the USA version of Netflix. Mullvad isn't going to be working with this stuff. That's because if you go to it, you will be able to watch Netflix originals like this. If I click here, it should theoretically work, and it does. However, you're not going to be able to watch content specific to each region. So the Twilight Zone is only available in America, and even right now that I'm connected to a Seattle, Washington server, you cannot see it. Now let's go ahead and disconnect Mullvad right now, and I will show you what happens. So as you can see, there's no Twilight Zone. So we are now disconnected, and now let's go ahead and reload that page. Now if we look it up, you can see the Twilight Zone is back. So that just goes to show you that Mullvad is going to limit what you can watch on it when connected to it. And that's an unfortunate reality of Mullvad that most people who like Mullvad don't really talk about. Not only that, but you'll notice that when connected to Mullvad, you won't be able to access specific US services, as I mentioned, like Prime Video or Hulu and stuff like that. With other VPN providers that have 5 out of 5 in the compatibility section, that's entirely possible and one big reason why people use VPNs in the first place. Honestly, I don't think Mullvad will ever support streaming compatibility, but it's very unfortunate that it doesn't, because it does cut out a lot of customers who would otherwise use it. Another downside about Mullvad VPN is that it doesn't have live chat. Now, especially right now in the pandemic, more and more VPNs are having trouble supporting live chat all the time. However, most of my top rated VPNs do have some form of live chat, or the VPNs on my tier list live chat is considered an important feature for customer support. As far as I know, Mullvad has never supported live chat, which is definitely a bummer because I do think they generally do care about their customers. You should get a response probably within a day or so, or sometime within the day, but it's not going to be as fast as some other VPN providers when they have live chat available, or just a little bit faster ticket response times. I don't have that much of a problem with Mullvad support, so I am going to give it a little bit of a boost there because I do think they have decent support. However, I just don't think it's as fast as some other options out there. Mullvad VPN is a very trustworthy company. I do trust them quite a bit. They're based in Sweden, which I don't really think matters too much because, as you've seen in my 5 and 14 eyes videos, I don't really put that much importance on where a VPN is based, because even if a VPN is based outside the 5 and 14 eyes, they can still give up logs, like we've seen with companies like PureVPN. So anyone who's telling you to use Mullvad because it's based in Sweden doesn't really know what they're talking about. However, that said, I do think Mullvad has a pretty solid company. They don't really ever have compromises to their security and stuff like that. Overall, they have a pretty transparent website and pretty transparent information about the company itself, which is much different than some other VPN providers, like stuff like NordVPN, ExpressVPN, Surfshark, and a lot of other popular VPNs which don't really like to tell you anything about their ownership, which quite honestly drives me insane because you can never really tell who owns a company or what their interests are, but that's not really the case with Mullvad, which is really nice, as well as the other VPNs on the tier list that have a 5 out of 5 in terms of reputation. All right, guys, so what is the final rating for Mullvad VPN? Well, Mullvad VPN has actually gone down in its score, unfortunately. I think the rating this time, however, is more accurate. I think for a lot of people, Mullvad will be a fine product because it's pretty affordable, you get excellent speeds, and it's a pretty reputable company. However, I do think there is a significant amount of people out there who won't be entirely satisfied with Mullvad VPN. That's because the application itself is pretty limited in terms of its customization and features available. I also think that a lot of people are going to be disappointed to find out that Mullvad won't work with streaming compatibility. Also, Mullvad doesn't have live chat and these kind of features, so if you're expecting immediate answers and immediate support, Mullvad might not be the right choice. Alright guys, so Mullvad's final score here on the tier list is a 3.16 out of 5, making it a little bit low on the end of tier 2. I do think that in a lot of ways, Mullvad VPN could be the perfect product. If they added more features and customization to their application, if they gave a little bit more flexibility with the pricing scheme, allowing you to get a slight discount if you purchased a year or something like that, or maybe if you've just been subscribed to Mullvad for a while and you're some kind of like super fan of Mullvad, they'll cut you a little bit of a discount. It's cool they give you a little bit of a discount for using Bitcoin and stuff like that, and I really do like their account generation system, which makes it easy to sign in and stuff like that without having to provide any information. Overall, I'm looking forward to see what Mullvad does in the future. However, even from now, from my last review, honestly, not much has really changed. The only thing that's changed a little bit is my review system, and the speeds have increased a little bit more. I would say I was even harsher this time on the application. After running it through the analysis and seeing how many features it missed, it made it clear to me that Mullvad does have some work to do to add some more powerful features to its application, even if it is secure and works well for the most part. Anyways, guys, those are my objective, unbiased thoughts on Mullvad VPN. Let me know down in the comments down below what you don't like about Mullvad VPN, instead of just letting me know what you like about it. I think a lot of VPNs like Mullvad that have a pretty loyal customer base often watch these reviews and get too triggered by some honest criticism. So if you want to help the industry, I think you should be more critical like me. Let me know down in the comments down below what you think Mullvad could improve and fix to make itself even a better product in the future. Anyways, guys, Tom Spark out, and I'll see you again on the next review.